Draft your LCS team and earn money. Alpha Draft.
안 들었고 다대 형이 점퍼를 얻었을 때는 그냥 제가 이제 다대형급의 선수가 된 것 같은 느낌이었어요. 결승에 의자에 걸어두고 하려고 했어요.
I am joined by one of our Season 1 World Champions, Fnatic's Expeke. Welcome to the table. We did notice that you were at the beginning at the opening ceremony and you got to overlook this wonderful stadium. What was that like?
Well, that was really, really cool that they actually allow us to go there. Even if we didn't do much, we got to live the player experience pretty much. I even got a bit nervous from feeling how it would be to play here and see all the stadium and see how it felt. And I was like, wow, it would be super great to actually be playing here.
Yeah, it was a great moment. Now, we just saw the first game of the series, Samsung White coming out so strong. What do you think StarHorn Royal Club can do going into Game 2, just having seen what we've just seen?
Well, I think if the White is obviously the better team here. I think if they play a standard, they're just going to lose all the games because their control of the map is incredible. How they get the wards so easily and how they protect their wards is so crazy. So Royal just have to try something new. Maybe try some picks that are more unusual, like Inset did before. Maybe try to really force the 2v2 and the 1v1 because in lane swaps, White is really, really good and will take all the advantage they can. If they just let White move around, I think they're not going to have a chance.
Well, in your perspective, these two teams are, of course, in the finals. What is your view on their path here? Are they the two very best teams in the tournament?
Well, I feel like White for sure is the best team in the tournament and is going to take it. And it didn't matter what way they were going to go, they were going to make it to the finals. But for Royal, it was a bit different. They were a good team, but I was doubting that they would make it. OMG started to play bad, for example. I thought OMG was going to make it to the finals. And in the semi-finals, there were a few games that they were tilting or playing kind of bad, and that gave Royal the chance they needed to make it again.
All right, well, we will see how the rest of the series plays out. You, of course, are a Season 1 champion. What is your view on how everything has grown so exponentially on seeing all these passionate Korean fans here in the stadium?
If you went back and see the Season 1 videos, for example, you will be completely in shock compared to this. Like, we were playing on a small stage, and we had 20 viewers, 30 viewers behind us and around us. So this is just another level. This is what you dream of. Like, at those times, I would dream of this. Like, go to sleep and be one day, maybe it will be on a stadium or something like that, and couldn't even believe it.
Well, it's no longer a dream, it's reality. Thank you so much, Expeke. All right, the teams are ready for Champ Select, so let's hand the reins over to the guys at the caster desk.
Thank you very much, Jacques. And we do want to remind everyone to stick around once the Summoners Cup has been hoisted for our closing ceremonies that will feature an encore performance by Imagine Dragons, fireworks, and more. We also have a special post-game show. We'll be bringing you player interviews along with a breakdown of all the action, which we just absolutely saw quite a bit of going on in that first game.
Yeah, there was just a very fast game. And I'm going to sound like a broken record here talking about how fast Samsung White plays, but it really is a wonder to watch with how quickly they're able to execute this match.
And now let's get back into the action with Game 2 between Samsung White and StarHorn Royal Club, almost getting into Champion Select soon. That first game, you know, we talked a lot about, for those viewers that kind of just came in and haven't watched much of the finals or any of the group stages with Royal Club in it, there's a lot of talk about communication. But we've seen every team fall to White in almost the same way. They don't have time to communicate, so when they do, it is going to be hard for them because it is in different languages. So they have a lot stacked up against them.
The odds are massively against them. I mean, we saw it in game number 1, how Samsung White can play when they're really on top of the game. I said it before at the end of the last one that I think that Royal Club has to do something a little bit special. You'd imagine if you're coming into this final knowing how Samsung White play, that you'd have prepared something a little bit special. Now's the time to bring it out, because going 2-0 down and having to win 3 games in a row to a team that's only lost 1 game over the entire World Championship.
Crazy.
Tough call.
Yeah, I do think if we're getting into the nitty-gritty here, Lucian is still the most important ban for White. It will be banned the entire series because that is the prototypical counter that StarHorn Royal Club has used to get out of lane swap scenarios. They fast push lane with Lucian, who can do it faster than anyone else. Of course, they're going to ban it here. The other question, though, and really the weakness here, is that Royal Club is forced into banning Alistar and Zillion again on this purple side. So they're really out of bans, and that leaves out the Rengar.
Yeah, and it's an easy first pick. Dandy pretty much saved this one, coming all the way through to the semi-finals. If you look at the bans of Rengar against them, there's just not that many there. In fact, there's only one ban that was actually put against them up until that one. So really, really, I think, difficult to say you leave the Rengar open. I mean, Lee Sin's gone, Rengar, so it leaves really Kha'Zix, or is it one of those pocket picks now for Insect?
Pantheon are the things you can go for. The benefit of giving them Rengar is they can at least take something away, they hope, from Samsung White. I don't actually think Royal Club wants to pick Twitch because they're not that good at lane swap situations, so why would they want to be the team with the emphasis on lane swapping? But honestly, giving it to Samsung White seems like just as much of a death sentence.
A lot of things that can happen here now that Mata gets his Janna, Imp back on Twitch. Super comfort picks for them, and we actually see Royal Club trying to play a few of the cards that White has brought. No plays yet for Korn on that Jace, but he's going to try his hand here to see what he can do.
I think almost irregardless of how well Korn performs on Jace or whether he has mastery of the champion, that pick allows them to play Corki, because they couldn't realistically play Corki in the last match, since it would have given them 3 primary magic damage dealers with Orianna and Ryze already being in the solo lanes. So when you pick Corki, you almost have to pick an attack damage focused mid lane. Now they can do that. They can play this game more aggressively and not be on the back foot the entire time. That's the hope, at least.
Looks like they might be up against another attack damage mid laner though. Pawn here, you know, he's the guy that's really shone for me so far with this Jace pick. And he's been hovering over Talon here quite a few times already. After they saw that, after they saw the Jace being pulled out. Rumble looking like that could land in the top lane for Looper. So let's see if those two get locked in. But for me, hard to call then. What is Kohler going to be bringing to the top lane?
I think that's a really big question, because his champion pool has been really small for most of this. Mundo has been one champion that he's been successful on, but honestly, that would just allow so much farm for a Rumble if they actually lane against each other. They're up against a very, very tough, difficult wall to be up against with how much White has right here in terms of damage.
We talked a little bit about that, the size of these champion pools, and that White, the top laners, 9-5 in that sense. 9 for Looper, 5 played here at Worlds coming in for Kola. He's going to take the Mundo this time. They're going to go for the big guy with the business in the top lane, but it's going to be a tough matchup all around for them again with those 3 strong picks. Pawn bringing out talent for the first time here. It's going to be quite interesting.
And you can't let Dandy get started as well as he did in the last game, in game number 2, because Rengar is going to be even more of a terror coming into this game if that happens for him. You know, in that last game didn't pick up all that many kills. He was more of an assisting AD carry, but he got so many started that Pawn just sniped off for the kills.
It was an absolutely exquisite performance by Samsung White. Dandy had the first 3 kills of the game and then assisted on the next kill. If you're Starhorn Royal Club right now, you have a little bit more diversity in your champion select here. Aside from the top lane pick, they have decent amounts of mid-game power, but they are kind of hurt there by the fact that they ran out of champions in the top lane, because Mundo won't have that giant mid-game power spike that they need to actually try and punish Samsung White. It's going to be a really hard game for them once again, but it is only due to the absurdly good champion pools and pick ban phase of Samsung White.
Absolutely. We're going to see what happens coming into the second game here. The champs are locked in, so pop over to Twitter. Tell us who you think will come out ahead. Use the hashtag SSWWin or SHR and send us your answers to @LOL Esports. It's going to be a good one as we start this off. We'll see if the aggression continues again from Samsung White. Has to be matched coming in from Starhorn Royal Club this time. They can't afford to fall behind, but they do have a bit of, like you said, Jat, the mid-game comp to come through. Hopefully, we can see Korn getting through safe and not just getting dove over and over in that top lane to stop Mundo.
Well, we're going to find out. We're into game number 2. Samsung White 1-0 up here over Starhorn Royal Club. Could this be World Championship point for them? Still a little way to go, but you have to feel that road is longer for Starhorn Royal Club and probably has a lot more twisty bends in it as well, because this one going to be very hard to turn around, but let's see what they can do. This time, taking away that Jace from Pawn might be a big factor.
And it all starts at level 1. Where will they see the wards? Where will they see the enemy position? The very first bit of knowledge that Samsung White has is they saw where Insec was on the map. That's all they know right now, but they're just pinged down once again. They saw Corki. Where will they make the move? Because Samsung White is pretty much always the aggressors at level 1, and Royal Club just kind of wants to withstand that right now.
Well, hopefully they can. White, as we said before, grows a lead extremely fast once they even have a few hundred gold to somebody in their pocket. Really happening last game off that first initial kill of Dandy and 3 assists from mid to the bottom lane. So he didn't have to help too much. He could just keep roaming and keep creating problems. White gathering together with quite a few pings here. They figure where the wards are across that line of scrimmage right down river. They've been placed quite well by Royal Club, so everybody should be able to stay safe here, but that doesn't mean they're not just going to run into each other.
And you also feel at this stage that people are expecting Samsung White to doing something in level 1 play. And actually a normal level 1 might throw Royal Club off more than that crazy level 1 start that we've been seeing from them time and time again. At this point, Dandy, Looper, and Mata on the bottom side, along with Imp. For Royal Club, though, it looks like they fancy this invade over onto the blue buff, or at least to get some vision down.
But once again, Royal Club walks over a ward with all 5 team members. This is leaving a free lane for Imp to go and freeze properly on Twitch, and we'll now see if Royal Club will fast push their own lane. It's how they usually react to lane swaps. However, they're the ones that basically got spotted, and White gets to react.
We'll see if Royal Club can get that turret down and get the swap back to normal here as they like to play. Imp with that farm down in the bottom lane, obviously slowing it down, so we'll see them behind a bit. But yeah, Royal Club pushing it as much as they can to this freeze in the bottom lane. See what happens with the junglers. We do now have them running around with the top laners this time, but that really doesn't affect Dandy too much. Looper still going to be able to come out big at level 6 for the Dragon, for the objective, something White and Royal both love to take.
We also have seen when Royal Club get put into these 2 versus 1, or when they initiate them themselves, they love almost exclusively to fast push those initial towers down so that they can get out of that lane swap as quickly as possible.
Yeah, because what we're going to be seeing right now is Mata roaming around the map as much as possible. It puts a lot of danger in many different situations here for Starhorn Royal Club. I think specifically the mid lane is a point of much contention. That's where we'll probably end up seeing the first bit of action in this match.
Well, we've seen it happen before. Korn has to be very careful. We do see that Mata is down there right now with Dandy, so that roam is already going to begin for them. Getting a ward right over to make sure nobody else is coming. They know Imp is going to stay safe, so they can leave him here if they want to, but we also see that safety of Zero. Royal Club is trying to get in the heads of White as much as they were in the heads of Royal Club in game 1.
I mean, Zero has been waiting in that mid lane for so long, expecting the aggression from Samsung White, and Samsung White just didn't bring it out. No. They knew he was missing, because if Royal Club normally fast pushes, you need a support there to help fast push. So all that has to happen is one little tell, and Samsung White is able to react accordingly. They do not get aggressive in the mid lane. A little bit of CS is given to Korn, which would be very beneficial, but in the end, not a big win for Royal Club.
And we see once again the turret taking quite a bit of damage on the top side of the map. One thing we also have to factor in, the double surprise jump out, I guess we can really call it, with with Rengar jumping at you there, with Imp there on Twitch, and Dandy himself has stayed in this jungle for quite a while, going to be trying to hit that level 6 point as quickly as he possibly can, and honestly right now they could probably take a free dragon if they wanted to.
Specifically, the Madrid's Razor was what he rushed. He took a huge amount of CS in their double jungle, not really giving any over to Looper so he could get his Madrid's Razor as soon as possible, and since Samsung White is the team that had Twitch in the bottom lane, it has allowed them to get more control around the Dragon area. There is a smart swap back here by Royal Club, putting Uzi in the bottom lane for a potential Dragon contest, but the vision control is lost for them in the most important part of the map at the moment.
We'll see if Dandy can get that head of Kha'Zix coming out this game, or even the other way around for Insec. They do see Uzi in the bottom lane, so they'll be expecting Zero quite soon. Royal Club getting what they want as fast as possible. The top turret did not go down, but they will be trying to catch up on a bit of CS here.
So I actually really like what Royal Club did in this particular situation. Even though they're swapping into where a lot of wards are, they have made Samsung White react to them for pretty much the first time this entire series. Once Imp started pushing, they swapped back, so they've actually trapped Twitch into a lane where he is much weaker to the Corki, who has a health crystal and a longsword at the moment.
They actually just saw that Jace was going to be pulling back there. Insect waiting on this top side to try and get in onto Looper, but in case of if you can really lock him down there, of course Flash not being burnt really by anyone at this stage of things. And Looper really checking those brushes, and we'll see if he face checks here right into Insect, spots him with the harpoon.
What Royal Club is trying to do right now is they're actually playing a substantially more defensive game than they did in the first one. They're trying to preempt the Dandy turret dives, but like always, Samsung White is kind of one step ahead because Dandy is happily disfarmed the jungle. There's that bottom lane aggression though.
Played to Mata, but the hook went to Imp. Is that the death sentence they need to start it? Mata's able to kind of stave this off. Imp taking some damage, but they will be safe throughout this lane so far. Uzi and Zero, they lost on that one in health.
And they lost the exhaust too, which is huge if we get another all-in. Exhausting someone and then Janus shielding them, if you're Mata, will turn around some really bad-looking situation. Royal Club has to be so careful now, actually, if they go for another all-in.
And Impia starting with that Vamp Scepter, going to make sure that he can get the health back at Zero. Going to take a bit of damage there from him, just trying to force them away. And look at this, the roam, 7 minutes in from Pawn. He comes down, but there's a ward there that spots him out.
Just dying off a few seconds later, and it would have been a great gank towards the bottom lane, but you can see that White is already trying to take an advantage here. Taking advantage of that exhaust being down, as we said, and the ability to keep the aggression going up. Inside of mana, he's forced back on this one, and we saw maybe the first kill. Heal is used on that. The exhaust is still held for any kind of engagement after this, but great aggression from Royal Club.
This is the danger of a 2v2 lane against Uzi on a mid-game AD carry. It's the one place where we thought Royal Club could hold an edge, and because of the way they actually played that fast push fake out early on in the game, they manipulated the lanes to get that matchup, and Samsung White didn't want to give that up because they would end up losing the Dragon. However, the rest of Samsung White, the top laner, mid laner, and jungler are operating on very potent mid-game power spikes. Dandy is level 6, Looper will soon be level 6, and Pawn is looking for his first assassination. If Royal Club could somehow withstand this power spike, they have a chance of winning, but that's a tall task.
Yeah, White were looking for it in the top lane, but Kohler wisely decided to back away, starting off with that Negatron cloak to give him as much strength against Looper's Rumble as possible. Meanwhile, Dandy stealing the red buff there for Samsung White. So that's a nice little pickup. Couple of deep wards, including the one in the tri-bush. So they got full vision right now over that top side of the map. For them, though, Insec is actually down on the bottom side of the map and is just recalled. So as he hits that level 6, we'll just evolve that spike rack. We'll see exactly where he decides to go next. For Uzi and Zero, bottom lane going decently for them. We saw them forcing Imp and Mata to back away with the use of summoner spells as well, so expect Imp and Mata here to just play a little bit more cautiously.
You can see a lot better control coming from that lane, easily clearing out pink wards that would be affecting them. They're able to place their own to stay safe in this. They won't be losing the first Dragon of the game that easily. They'll definitely be able to contest it, but it will be tough. We do know that Rumble Equalizer is something to be reckoned with down at the Dragon, but they do have Jace this time, which has been a huge factor in controlling objectives as well.
And that'll be really critical if Samsung White tries to force a Dragon objective. However, their team fight potential in that area is so immense. I do have to point out, though, considering how devastating Samsung White has been and how slow starting Starhorn Royal Club has really been, especially with the mindset advantage we thought Samsung White would have after obliterating Royal Club in that first game. This open from Starhorn Royal Club is really, really impressive. They have a 500 gold lead, they have the lanes they've actually desired, and they're just hoping to avoid these mid-game Rengar ganks. If they can do that, they have a great chance of winning.
It's almost a mirror image of what they did. It was Lucian for Uzi that game to OMG. In game 2, they had a great bottom lane start with aggression that maybe staved here a little ult by Dandy. I don't think he's going to do anything with it just yet. They're waiting for Insect. He comes in. The level 6 is actually used to try and get out. Dandy may have bitten off more than he can chew on this one. He's forced to get out. Doesn't want to get the red buff over. There's the teleport. There's the red carpet laid out. But it's first blood going over to Uzi. That's a second second one for Cola. Insect will fall. Pawn coming in, tries to get Talon on the end. He's gonna try and get that cutthroat down, and he does get a good cut. That goes over onto Uzi, but it's gonna be Korn. Can he start to clean things up? They continue the fight.
Dandy very low from this one. Looper also going low. They're scared that Cola will go down. Turn!
Whoa!
Gets himself caught. They're gonna kill Cola, who will take one with him. And just like that, everyone going down across the map. It's only Looper that manages to survive it.
What an absolute bloodbath that was, and if not for some spectacular play by Looper, that would have fallen in Royal Club's favor. So the way this started was Insect preempting Dandy. That almost never happens. Dandy was forced to jump on Insect. Teleports coming about the same time. The only thing that White had an advantage in this fight was the fact that Pawn roamed down faster than Jace did. It is absolute chaos, which honestly is not good for Samsung White. This is the game that Royal Club lives for. They want brawls like this because given enough iteration and enough times of these fights, they will come out on top. It didn't happen this time, but it was close. They didn't actually lose much in this fight, save for a 5-for-4. Getting 4 kills at this point in the game is great for Royal Club.
Oh, Dandy trying to get in there for the heal, but not quite getting close enough. And look at this after that mess. It's Royal Club that will actually be moving first of all towards the Dragon Pit, will take it and give themselves a lead, a slim lead, but a lead nonetheless.
I kind of need to think of a metaphor right here because Samsung White is so fast. It's like a bunch of rabbits running around. What do you want to do if you actually want to fight them in a good spot? You just pile on and put everyone in the same space. If you can't communicate or move as fast as the other team, you want 5v5 team fights again and again and again, because then you can rely on your instinct. It's what has gotten Starhorn Royal Club to the finals, and is what they have actually forced a little bit in this game. A very slight goal lead to 12 minutes is really impressive when you consider what monstrous underdogs Royal Club are right now.
That fight provided a lot for everyone around the map in terms of items. Spirit Visage going over to Mundo. Cola's going to be able to get up on health quite fast once he throws that ultimate on, but Looper sitting on that Haunting Guise along with the Sork Boots. Pawn wants to get in with that ultimate once again. Those very low-timed ultis. Cola already throws it off. He's just looking for the speed now as he's full health. Hit the turret, guys. You're taking a lot of damage. Pawn may actually go down to this. Flashes back as Looper does take to the turret. Throws down the equalizer for the slow. Cola's going to pick up a kill. They do take down Korn as he comes in a little late, and that was an ill-advised fight to continue with for Royal Club.
Dandy's timing was just right. The dive itself was a little sloppy by Pawn standards, and it's what ended up costing him his life, but Dandy jumped in to save the day. 2, 1, and 4, Rengar might be getting a little bit scary.
Looper is already scary though. 403, up 25 CS, Haunting Guys, got his Sorcerer Shoes, and now him and Mata are going to look for something down the bottom. Can they catch one out? Howling Gale will land onto Zero, but Uzi and Zero turn this one around. Exhaust has been exchanged. He's put the exhaust onto the support, and Imp's going to try and clean up from this one. Zero will surely fall. Uzi should be able to get away, but it's a kill for him.
What an ult by Mata right there to completely split Imp and Uzi away. They tried to get a little bit aggressive, but Mata was waiting with the exhaust and the Monsoon. It was not canceled. He got everything out. Danny, though, goes a little far. Let's see what happens.
That's the Storm Shield coming in from Mata. They walked right over a pink ward. They thought they had time. They saw it. They just wanted the aggression. They wanted to deny buffs. They may actually come up with it on this one, knowing they're clearing out one pick here. They're biding their time, but they don't know Imp is right there, sneakily coming out. Dandy enters the brush to get himself the jump, and Imp's going to finalize the kill on Pawn, who just came back from base.
Korn cannot miss those shock blasts if they want a chance here. Samsung White is finding the skirmishes. Every fight here, they are up in men. After having that fight in the bottom lane, they are just now moving around as quickly as they can and catching Royal Club before a brawl can emerge.
Yeah, going to be getting that middle outer turret, looking for the bottom outer turret as well. They were waiting a while for the minions to come in, which will move on to it, but I think Uzi will be back in time to make sure that this one stays alive, at least for now. And if you look at the gold, it's taken a considerable swing just like that for Samsung White. Now up 2,700 gold, 9-5 in kills. As I said, they're all fed at this point to Looper, who in the quarterfinal in particular looked absolutely brilliant. Looked like a different player to what we've been used to seeing from Looper.
Crazy.
And he can show that he can play pretty much anything. His Akali, he just broke out in game 1 of the semifinals in what were the biggest games of their lives at that point. Now they are again in an even bigger game, and he's just not falling down when the moment counts. He's stepping up in just the right way. Leandri's rush against Amundo is just the right item that he wants, and if the next Dragon is to happen, Royal Club can only hope that Looper doesn't have a beautiful equalizer.
Triforce finished up by Uzi. He can help accent the damage Korn is doing from long range here. Everybody else looking to dive into the fight, so we'll see if a little bit of poke and catch here comes from Starhorn Royal Club within the next few minutes. Definitely having a better game than game 1. 9-5, they're only down by about 3,000 gold here. Imp will get caught, but not much is going to happen on this one. They have the ability to clear that ward out, but for now, they want to get the lane push. They want the pressure. They know there might be Insect on the backside here. He's going to be careful. Got to be careful.
Unfortunately, he walked through a ward, and a counter gank of counter ganks could be readily approaching. Talon is hard pushing the mid lane right now to force Royal Club into hopefully a quick decision. A Rumble would have been there for a counter gank, but just like usual, Samsung White adjusts even faster. They're fast pushing the mid lane, and they're again forcing Royal Club into very reactionary style of play, where White is one step ahead.
You're out there from Mata. Nope, they're diving on Korn in the mid lane, and he's, I'm afraid, dead from that. There is Insect, though. What can he do? Surely we'll be able to finish off Korn. He's actually just left the invisibility. Whoa, they go down! Mata comes in, Howling Gale into a Monsoon to knock him back, give the heal, and somehow they get 2 kills, and Korn should have died.
Insect thought he already had the kill. He was trying to double up. It ends up costing them and his own life. The red buff, I think he thought maybe the Lizard Elder burn would finish the kill. Never trust the burn. Always finish the kill. Matcha may always be waiting in the wings. He stops him right there with the shield, allows the damage to turn around.
Imp taking a little too much here. He will go down. Mata can't get to every lane that fast, even with mobility boots on Janna. He is playing pretty godlike with those ultimates, but you still have to fend for yourself, and Imp cannot in that situation. Mata still looking to get some wards out. See this one more time in the mid lane. Instant Shadow Assault from Pawn, and the invisibility from Dandy as well.
He flashes in to get the root when Korn was exposed because the minion wave was getting there. He didn't want that to block, but Pawn unfortunately took Turd Dagger, which wasn't a plan, which is why that went bad. But with red buff and a Lizard Elder, Insect thought for sure Pawn was going to go out.
Wow.
But Mata uses his flash to get just into range. What a save. However, Royal Club knows the Twitch is dead. That timely kill was really bad for White. However, here comes the Rumble. Teleport with Leandri's in just the right spot. This is dangerous.
Dragon down to half. Looper coming around the side. He'll force Uzi first out. There is Pawn as well. Can they finish him off? The burn is not.
Oh my gosh!
Equalizer comes down. Looper unstoppable. They've killed off Insect there at the back, and it's not over yet. They will hook in Mata, but Pawn is still there. Here comes Dandy leaping into the back. But can they lock down? Now Looper joining in from the side. He's going under the tower, and he manages to dominate, taking out Korn as well. Amazing, they get in the tower on top.
It just goes from bad to worse for Starhorn Royal Club. Amongst all of that, Dandy stole the dragon, so anything that Royal Club could have hoped to get out of that is just evaporated.
The Prince of Thieves continues his name and keeps that title. We're going to see this one more time. A great push out on Uzi, and they do what they have to in the Dragon Pit.
Yeah, you know you're ahead when Rumble can assassinate one low health target with Equalizer and it have no impact on the fight. Samsung White dropped at just the right moment. They knew that Royal Club put a little bit too much investment into the Dragon, then they stole it away, and now it's just ugly.
This is where they keep pressuring forward. It's going to be the bleed, but it will not take down Uzi, but that means they lose more pressure in the bottom lane now. Both are top, as we see. That's Insect and Cola. They can't provide anything down here. It's going to be a long run. Wards are already being set up by Samsung White, and they're going to be able to stop whatever Royal Club tries to bring to this bottom lane.
Yeah, just think, a mere 7 minutes ago, Royal Club had a 500 gold lead. They're now down 7,000 gold pretty much.
Yep, no.
We'll be in a few seconds. And they have again assumed complete control of the map. They had that mid-game power. They knew who was strong on their team. Looper. They knew that Dandy could find the right ganks. That's why he is so threatening on Rengar. They have just executed on all of their strong points, even though Starhorn Royal Club did manipulate the lanes very well and honestly played the first 12 minutes about as well as they could. It's just not enough because Samsung White continues to play the full game, or up until about 29 minutes, because by that point they usually end it.
Looking to make plays in the top lane now. A very nice sweeper used to clear out the ward. Dandy They may not know he's there, but they know Looper was trying to get into that position. So they're just going to hang out on this one. Clearing wards, getting more vision. In the next play, Samsung White works with very big windows that they want to fight in, and they're usually in that window all the time. 4 turrets to 0 right now. Complete map control means Royal Club's jungle is theirs.
Yeah, complete strangulation on the top side of the map right now. You can see that most of those wards actually are pink wards put down by Samsung White, including on the front side of the Baron. Their items getting a little bit out of control. You know, we saw Imp earlier on losing his life as he bit off a little bit too much in the bottom lane, but now Blade of the Ruin King is going to have his Ghost Blade done pretty soon. In the mid lane, you've already got the Ghost Blade for Pawn on top of the Ravenous Hydra. The Zhonya's Hourglass has actually just been finished by a 6-0-3 Looper, so he can afford to go even more aggressive. We saw him already flashing under the tower for the extra kill at the end of the last one.
I mean, even though Cola has 4 kills on Dr. Mundo, Cola is still 1,400 gold behind Looper in this game. It is an absolute runaway by Looper's Rumble, and Dandy doesn't even care about that word. This is a little bit much to try and get down.
Looking to take a bite out of Cola right here. He doesn't have much to run on except for that equalizer. He has to turn tide. Insect's going to put himself in the fight here, but I don't know if he can handle this 2v2. Uzi and Zero coming up on the outside. Insect's got the burn on. Looks like he'll stay alive from that one. Pawn comes in with the exhaust on him, but they're going to be able to at least finalize 1 kill here. That's going on to Zero. 2 bleeding and blinking red on Cola and Insect, so they're not able to rebuttal the fight at all.
And like moths to a what would it be? Moth to a flame.
Yes.
Samsung White makes it any time a fight is about to approach. Again,
the window's always open.
Corn was slow to that rotation. Pawn beat him there, and Samsung White takes down yet another Baron because everyone gets pushed away. 22 minutes only, they secure.
Baron down the shock blast through the acceleration gate of Corn. Not in the right place at the right time, and you know, it's one thing to take away the Jace from Pawn, but if you end up 0-5-3 on it at this stage of the game, yes, you've taken it away, but you now have that Talon over on the other side. 200 CS, 9 assists to his name. They let Rengar through, which Dandy has done a fantastic job on so far, and Imp, he's only getting stronger. 4-2-3, we've seen already, time and time again, sometimes to his detriment, we have to say. He's not scared to get in there and try and have that one-on-one with, I think, pretty much anyone on the side of Royal Club now. You
talk about that CS onto Pawn. We saw him doing the same thing to Dade, somebody who had a mental block against, and they were never able to beat. Same thing, up 20, 40 CS at times in the game, helping to control, making it easier for Dandy to get in the face of the opponents, and once again, the entire team is now available to do that. Baron buff circling around them for another 3 minutes. Uzi in the top lane, he lays down a bit of fire on the ground, but he's going to have to go over the equalizer flame to get there, taking too much damage. Imp finalizes that one. They're going to pressure the top lane. The wave actually quite far away, so they're going to go back into the jungle before they can reset this.
And we see time and time again, nowhere is safe to farm. With all of the stealth assault that Samsung White can put out, not only do they have good pink ward control, they come into the lane through the minions when they're invisible. So it's a little bit harder to farm on top of that one. And even if Imp does have a penchant for getting a little bit over-aggressive sometimes, his team will always back him up. They collapse so quickly, 5-2, everyone participating, another turret goes down.
And that will leave them over 10,000 gold now in the lead. Just 24 minutes into this one. The only inner turret left standing is on the bottom side of the map, where Pawn has been constantly pressuring, making sure that those minion waves don't go through. Imp might be in no man's land, but Insect is there with him as well. In fact, he will force the ultimate and the leap away. The poison not quite enough to actually finish him off, but it'll be enough to force them back and just leave them with their base left standing.
Turret happy hour right now for Samsung White as they make their way around. Royal Club can't even enter their own jungle to get wards down to make sure those turrets are safe. Even harder to be guarded as this second tier turret. Looks like they can't even get to this dragon either. The gold lead is just surmounting right now for White. Looking at 13,000, 16-7, and the waves, as we said, are flooding towards Royal Club. They have not been able to grab a turret yet.
It's going to be tough for them to try and stall this one out, because that's kind of all they would hope for in this situation, is that Corn could get enough wave clear that Jason Mundo could be a late game powerhouse. However, I mean, it was just half a game ago, around 12 minutes, that Star and Royal Club had a gold lead. That's how quickly this game has devolved into a Samsung White resounding victory. They're now 13,000 gold ahead. I can't believe how fast Dandy has stacked up his Pharaoh Flare, actually. He's at 17 stacks after his transformation already. It's just absolutely absurd. He is all over the map, but that is just like everyone else on Samsung White. They have the Janna with Captain Boots to make things just a little bit quicker, and do not expect them to let off the gas pedal.
That Mage Eyes as well, stacking up there from Mato. We've seen that quite a few times throughout the tournament on Jannas. He's going to be assisting that much more as he gets possibly 20 in the cooldowns for him to keep peeling and keep helping. 3 of those blades finished up now, and it looks like they're going to be using those to continue pushing Royal Club into their base. White has hit such power spikes in their items that Royal Club can't even look at these fights anymore.
No, and the level difference at this stage is just absolutely massive. I mean, 4 levels between the 2 mid laners there. You see Uzi having to fly away. He's 2 levels behind that of him. Top lane, there's a couple of levels difference, and White are going to walk in there, and they're probably going to dive into Insect. That'll be the first target. Equalizer goes down. Cola's already at half, but they want the squishies first. Zero's going down. Cola, he's still in the mix, but will he get away from it? There is him going mad at the back. He will get another one, and that's 4 men down, just like that.
And right now, Samsung White is trying to make this the fastest world final average game time in history. They are well on pace to do that. They should end the game on this push because nobody died, and 4 members are down for Royal Club.
Staying true to the sub 30-minute games on this one. Cola doing what he can, but as Freak says, he falls flat in that situation, and it's going to be the second Nexus turret going down. They're looking to make this one a 27-minute victory with this say, wait a minute, we're low. There could be resets coming in for Insect. We have to reset and play this safe.
Well, Insect did enough there to actually back off, did he? He's going to come in, Port flashes over as well, and they pick up another kill, and we'll just back off saying, okay, we need to protect the top tower. Let's not lose any towers in this one. Lupa will use his teleport to go all the way back and keep that tower alive.
May as well. You got to keep all your buildings alive. They win and lose as a team. The blue side of the map is helping them in this one with all those turrets. Honestly, they are so far ahead. They dive so well. This is now a 19,000 gold lead, nearing the largest gold lead in a World Finals history. Let's check this out again. Just Dandy popping his ult, but the instant he goes stealth, he gets the leap and instant stun on Insect. They don't let him get stealth because of the pink ward. It's just everyone already knows what they're going to do before they do it. Mata is talking so much, but honestly, I believe it's more than that. It's complete instinct and trust in everyone else on the team. They are so confident right now, and why would they not be? They were, like I said earlier, they were in the group with the #1 team from China. The quarterfinals, they 3-1'd, which was their one slight step up, the #1 team in North America. Yeah. Their longtime rival, Samsung Blue, they beat faster than they have ever beaten them before. They completely demolished them in 3 games. One of the most one-sided best-of-5s in League of Legends history against a team that was supposed to take them down, the #1 seed from Korea. It makes sense that they are dominating Starhorn Royal Club as well on the biggest stage ever for League of Legends. It's almost like a tribute to Samsung White right now. They are so good.
A tribute that they have written and they're playing right now. 40 seconds on the Baron. Don't even know if they're going to need to go back for this one. And it looks like the final push may be had here. Kills going on to Royal Club. It could be Uzi going down. He's forced to use Summoner Heal. One last shot and the Venom takes him down. Insect falls just as fast right after Uzi. That's 4 instant kills. Cola only living because he has the HP to do so. And the Nexus, having less than him, is going to go down quite fast. They keep it under 30 minutes. The final hits call it 29-12 on the clock. Game 2 to White. Game point for the 2014 World Championship.
And really, World Championship point is upcoming. 3 more games for Samsung White. They just have to win one of them. And it doesn't seem like they are too worried about that next one. However, we've seen so many best-of-5s in the past, you can never call it over after 2 matches. However, both these matches were sub 30 minutes, and this time they actually looked a little bit challenged for the first 12 minutes by Starhorn Royal Club, but after that, it's like they flipped a switch and turned it on.
Yeah, and if you look, I mean, the scoreboard at the end telling you, big tail there, you can see the laugh on Uzi's face, and I think a lot of teams have maybe felt this one kind of helplessness maybe against Samsung White. You try 2 different strategies in there. Yes, this one has definitely started off better for them, but ended up going exactly the same way. Lupa, I have to mention it, went massive again this game. 7-0-10 on Rumble. Just, you couldn't control him by then. I mean, when you fall 4 levels up as well by the end of it. You got your level 3 ultimate. You're kind of in a good place.
And I really like the point you made against teams just not knowing what to do, a sense of helplessness. They're just constantly trying to dodge these fastballs that are going thrown again and again right at their faces, but it's not like after you dodge one, the next one comes any slower. It just gives them more information where you are and how you can't dodge it, and they'll hit you eventually. And it's never giving another team a chance to get aggressive. That's what's so impressive.
Well, seemingly impossible to play against somebody who's in your head knowing what you're going to do 4 steps before you do it. Those are the plays White is making, and it's been shown against every team. They can't possibly go ahead and look at every game and figure out this is what they're going to do every second of every game, but they adapt instantly throughout each one, and it's amazing to see because it is nearly flawless.
And that's the thing, right? Coming into the third and possibly final game, if the first 2 are anything to go by, Royal Club, again, they have to have control early on. They can't obviously afford to let that one go, but they have to also, I think, hope that Samsung White get too confident here, that they go too showboaty and end up making mistakes.
I know, and if there's ever a stage to show off on, right, it's the World Final stage. There's 40,000 fans here, millions watching online. They deserve it. They deserve this World Championship more than anyone, but it's 1 game away, and they have to keep focused on the game at hand.
Well, we're going to keep focused as well, but for now, we're going to send it over to Quickshot and the guys for more insight into Samsung White's 2-0 start to the Championship Series.
Thank you very much, guys. As you can hear in the venue, we're having a lot of fun, and wow, what a performance from Samsung White. Coming out the gates, really swinging once more. Again, destroying Royal Club. Let's get straight to the team comps. Rengar, Rumble, Talon. Let's pull the graphic up, and Krepa, maybe talk to me about some of the picks and bans and a slightly different approach by Royal Club, but it wasn't enough.
I actually like what Royal Club did here. They had a good late game component in Mundo, Kha'Zix. They didn't fall too far behind early. Their picks scale well into all phases of the game. I like Corki into Twitch. I like Thresh. It offers engage. Actually, coming into this, if I had to choose a comp that I would like to see win, it is Royals, but then you have White just playing so damn brilliant.
Yeah, and the thing we have to remember here, too, is that really, if you're going to be Royal Club, what you're looking for is to hit the power spike about probably 18 minutes when you start getting that Trinity Force, when you get a core item or 2 onto Jace as well. So your sweet spot's going to be probably like 18 to 23 minutes. That's when you have to start grouping and then sieging very aggressively against the low wave clear. But what White did is they stalled out and skirmished with their composition and made it never possible for them to actually group on a tower.
The problem with this, though, is that Corrin on Jace made no sense to me because it's a champion he hasn't played at Worlds. To my knowledge, hadn't played it all split in summer either. I was questioning his champion pool, but his Jace was honestly pretty abysmal. Late to fights, you saw him misplay fights on the bottom lane, get dived on repeatedly, and not know how to play around it. And if he had been an uncomfortable champion, like they banned his own Rise, and then he first picked the champion he doesn't play instead of getting that Rise within himself. Like, that was very odd to me, and it showed that he was uncomfortable.
Yeah, it really showed that Royal was unprepared for Rengar and Rumble, which is really strange because you should know that Looper and Dandy will play Rengar and Rumble. Those are hard initiates into a poke comp, so picking a full poke comp with that Jace, Kha'Zix, Mundo, Corki doesn't make too much sense. Rumble and Rengar will just jump your face and kill you because you have low base stats.
I want to bounce off that point, though. While he wasn't the most impressive Jace, it did allow him to at least keep mid lane, even if not push it first, and that actually kept Palm back. Palm couldn't roam until he was actually like 15 minutes into the game, or just at least push and put the pressure on the map. So in that point, the Jace did work out, but sadly, if you're not proficient at a champion, Samsung White will abuse that like as much as they can.
Before we get to that 15-minute roaming and pushing and moving around the map, we've got a replay that was super chaotic in the bottom lane. It actually wasn't too terrible for Royal Club, despite it being a 5v4. Krepa, you felt quite strongly about how this started.
Yeah, so first thing I want to highlight is Samsung White, they still make mistakes, but what the beauty of their play is that how they react to mistakes immediately and how they don't get phased by it at all. And this is going to be a long replay, so I'll start it out, and then I'm going to need some help from you guys because I can't cover all this. But yeah, basically it starts out with Zero just engaging this straight, reaction from Imp coming in as well, and then yeah, the TPs come in. The thing is, Dandy could have actually went a lot earlier, but he respected Insect. Mata's trying to survive, but this hook from Zero, that misses, and that bodes really badly for Royal Club.
Well, his setup on the equalizer there was nearly perfect as well, because you see it splits Insect and Cola off from Zero and Uzi, so it makes it a lot easier to focus just one of them down. And here we have Pawn getting in with his ultimate, dealing a bunch of damage right there, gets the exhaust off onto Uzi as well. And then as this fight ends up, Looper...
It's a bad flash. That's what I mean. Yeah, the bad flash, but he reacts so well.
Actually, if Looper didn't flash in right there to greedily try to go for the kills, he could have slowed down Korn's entry into the fight. And now at this point, Starhorn Royal Club just has to pick a target. They get so greedy here. Korn goes for Looper, but Cola's off getting zoned or trying to finish off Dandy, and then Looper just turns around and smacks Korn in the face.
Yeah, and that's what I meant about Korn. Like, he's staying there, like, not playing the range deal, not waiting for another QE to come out, anything like this, and honestly just absolutely misplays that fight against Rumble. That would have won them a 5-for-3 instead of a 4-for-5.
Yeah, and I got a bit thrown off guard at the start because the start of this fight highlights the decision-making we could have had. Rengar was camping in that bush and dry. He used his ulti, he saw Kha'Zix's approach, and then he hesitated for a second. It's rare that we see Danny hesitate because he kind of want to bait Kha'Zix in, but it allowed the Royal Club members to group up and form like an alliance together instead of just immediately Rengar ulting on the Thresh and just burning him down. I think that would have been a slightly better play, but who am I to disagree with?
Freak, I've got a question for you for our next replay as well. Regardless of the strategic decision-making that Royal Club is doing mechanically, individually, we're seeing misplays. Let's pull a second replay up onto your screens. Talk me through some of the decision-making of the dive and then the eventual mistakes from Insec.
Right, so the initial dive, this is beautiful. This is Samsung the whole time, and again, it's their instincts of playing together for years now. Well, actually, in Pawn's case, only a few months, but Pawn and Dandy set up the gang. It's beautiful. Roll the clip out, right? They both start from out of sight. If we play it forward, we're going to see they choose to go in together. Right, they're waiting. Okay, Danny's going to stealth. You see Pawn slowly inching forward. He's waiting. He's like, okay, now you're stealth. Okay, now it's time. There he is. I mean, it's beautiful. The flash engage. Everyone else is ready to go right on top of that. Beautiful stuff. Honestly, there's very little Korn can do, but he shouldn't have flashed. This is just silly by Insec. He thinks he has the kill. Pawn actually turns back to cue him to lifesteal. Takes Ravenous Hydra, and then Mod is beautiful. Knows he can exhaust. Knows he, or just assumes he has the healing to keep him alive.
Yeah, just can't assume the burn was going to finish it off. They double lift. You were trying
burned
to
him in
think
the end.
about some of the decision-making or misplays, plays from either squad?
Yeah, I was going to say, after that first replay, it just goes to show Samsung White is just so ahead of the game. Yeah, they misplayed that first fight, and they ended up trading kills when it could have been more clean, or potentially actually a loss for them. But Samsung White, it looks like they're the Power Rangers, and like Royal's just like a hot dog or something. Like they can't do anything. They're sitting in lane. They're just doing really. They're just doing normal things, things that actually would get them ahead if they're against anyone except for Samsung White. They're playing aggressively. They're pushing their lanes. They're looking to group and fight. But Samsung White is just like 2-3 steps ahead every single time.
See, at the start of this game, I was like, oh, it's finally getting close. Maybe we'll see a good match. And then White finds a way somehow every game to flip that switch, and suddenly your 5k go down, your towers dropping one by one, and you become a hot dog against the Power Rangers.
Exactly.
One game away before we find out if the Power Rangers or the hot dogs are going to push on to the finals, guys. We are going to head over to Twitter and ask you guys once more to share your favorite moments from Worlds with us. Send your responses to us at LOL Esports. Use the hashtag Worlds. We will be talking about them at the end of the day in the post-game wrap-up. We are going to drop in on another one of those viewing parties that is being hosted by Coke Zero. And here are the fans in a packed house at the Cinemark Legacy Theater in Dallas, Texas, where Team Dignitas' Kiwi Kid showed up to join in. Even got a little love there from TSM in a moment or two, as you hear all over the world. Even cosplayers in the house. Thank you for that, guys. Samsung White are one victory screen away from clinching the Summoners Cup for 2014. We'll see if they can get it done when they face off against Starhorn Royal Club in Game 3 of our championship finals.
Insec will fall. Pawn coming in, tries to get Talon out the end. He's going to try and get that cutthroat down.
There is Insec though. What can he do? Surely we'll be able to finish off Pawn. He's actually just left the invisibility. Whoa, they go down. Coming around the side, he'll force Uzi first down. There is Pawn as well. Can they finish him off? The burn is not even Equalizer comes down. They're probably going to dive. It's Insec that'll be the first target. Equalizer goes down. Cola's already at half, but they want the squishies first.
Bo's going down to Royal Club. It could be Uzi going down. His first use Summoner Heal. One last shot and the Venom takes him down. Insec falls just as fast.